Once we have our panels produced with the required marks on the edges and so on, we need to think about how to label the panels. The panels are automatically generated with internal numbers, and these internal numbers are always unique. You will never get two panels with the same number. However, they don't necessarily follow a numbering system that you'd like to use. One thing we can do is we can go in on stamping a panel and add a panel number into the seam where the panel number is replaced with a number that we specify just here, like we could start from 1, and then if we selected these panels and stamped him, delete the old, and we'd find that this one was called panel 1, the next one was labelled up as panel 2, and the next one as panel 3. These panel numbers will be sent to the plotter cutter for printing onto the side of the panel, just about inside of the seam allowance, whereas the large panel numbers in the middle are just for reference during the panelling process. It's quite possible, I'm just going to go back a few stages now and lose those panelling numbers, to instead say that you want the panel number to be the one which is shown on the screen. And this is usually the best way to work, to where you accept that the numbers are almost randomly generated, that you don't always start at panel number 1 and then go on to panel number 2, but they are unique numbers. And we would then specify that we replace that hashtag symbol, instead of with a specific number just there, to be replaced with a panel ID number. So now when we pick these panels up and stamp them, we would find that we have P137 instead of 137 there. The P, of course, is just what we had set in the stamp text. However, although you can have these panel numbers which will identify them, in many ways it's more useful to have instructions on the panel as to which panel it's going to join to. And these are called assembly marks, and I want to show you now how to put in assembly marks. So I'm just going to go back a few stages to where I don't have any marks on my producing assembly marks is a two-stage process. The first thing we do is we align all of the panels in approximately the arrangement that they will be when they are sewn together. We then pick them up and ask the program to add assembly lines. And here's how the program thinks that these panels are going to be assembled together. It's managed to get lines between all of the simple panels, but on the complicated panel here you can see that there's a little bit of, it doesn't know exactly that this panel connects to here, and this panel is shown a little bit off. So we would just modify those lines by moving this line perhaps to about there, and then drawing in another line which is just going to indicate that this panel is going to connect to that panel there. So we have here some assembly lines that were machine generated and some that have been inserted by the user to indicate special things where several panels join together. Of course, you can generate all the lines by hand yourself. Then what we do is we specify that on the stamp settings that we want assembly marks drawn in. Click on that, delete the old objects, and at each point where there was a line now, there is a mark saying which panel this edge joins to. So on this panel 137 it joins onto 139. It joins onto 139 on this edge which says 137 to 139. It doesn't join onto it on this edge which says 139 to 140. And so this, by printing these marks in the seams, and of course on this one there are two sets of marks, you get a full set of assembly instructions saying where the panels are going to be joined together. And this is probably the most useful way of marking your panels rather than just using panel numbers. If you want to, of course, you can also go in and add panel numbers as well.